Welcome back to Fort Mort. You know what, guys? I said I was going to do the next video for the Krayt Raid with teams. I'm actually going to do it first. I got to ask a good question. What teams are you using? Well, that depends on what your roster looks like. So I'm going to give you some prime examples. And on a quick note, I came just shy of 3 million, and I figured something out today on how to crack that 3 million without having to do multiple attacks. I figured out where to put a couple of characters that hadn't hit me at first, and I'm like, oh, let me try something, and I one-shot them, and you'll see those videos coming up shortly. But for today, I want to talk about what teams are available to you depending on what your roster looks like. I've got a lot of trash that I use. One of that examples is right here. You see that with that Embo, Mando, Skiff, Tusken Raider, and Sabine. So if you guys didn't watch the first Krayt video, I've taken my account with, and mind you, before we were allowed to do 10 attacks or even more. Before they took that bug out, no, you can only do 5. And I was starting out doing 1.3 million. And I've gone from 1 month from 1.3 million to I'm going to crack 3 million today. At the end of this video, I'm going to put it on high speed, play all 5 of my attacks. You guys can slow YouTube down if you're not aware of that on the screen, if you want to watch those attacks slower. And the music might be a little, but survive with it, right? So what I'm going to do that at the end of this video. But first, I want to show you guys the teams that I'm using. So like this Embo team, I've hit around 290 to 310 on it. It's spare parts, and I was doing that probably about 193 to 200 when they were lower. I didn't have Skiff Guard, I didn't have Boush or Boosh or whatever her name is. I didn't have her 7-star yet. Well, I have her now. So as of right now, this Cad Bane team is popular at all levels, because with that R8 Boba, if you've got it for the GL, the Boba, and you've got it modded right, you're going to be looking at maximum damage at whatever level you're playing. My guys are geared 12, so they can only do the 450, and it's super easy. You can't even do it wrong at 450. At the higher levels, it starts to get a lot of RNG and removing tenacity, etc., etc. Jawas, they're trash. I love my Jawas. In this raid, you're going to get anywhere from 180k to 450k, depending on, most people have them from gear 10 to gear 12. If you have, if you're going to relic any of them, do the Jabba, because he's a relic GL requirement, and he's going to be your damage dealer as well. I put a lot of offense on him. Now, this is where I made the change. I decided to run Karth with the 2 droids instead. Now, these, you've got a couple of ship people here with Karth and T3M4, so they're crew members, so it doesn't hurt to do it. But I was running Ordo and getting about 350k, but I had to do it multiple times to get that 350. He just does so much damage so fast, and they can't handle that poison, and he ramps up, being the Krayt Dragon, and takes them out so early. Well, with this lower damage team, they're allowed to slowly ramp up and get around 300,000 in one try. So I do it on level 1 and try to get what I can over 300,000 and go from there. Ordo used to be on my, like I said, on my Karth team, but I have now moved him. But this is an example of what you can use. Karth missions, Albar, Ordo, Jahani. As for the JKR team, you can do a 3-man. So you can do a 3-man. So looking right here, you got Jedi Knight Revan, you got Bastila Shan, you got Jolie. You can do a 3-man, but it's difficult to get that 600,000 unless you're high relic. The higher your relics are, the better off you're going to do. You can get the 450 with no problem. I've seen people, like, if you do the gear 12, basically your JKR's got to be relic. The rest of them could be gear 12 and you get 450. It's not that difficult. Once you go into the 600, it starts to scale. At that point, I added Jahani and I was getting up to 850k. Well, today I figured out how to get 900 without even blinking. And it actually worked out, because I moved my Ordo off of my OR. I lost about 50k by taking Ordo off, so I went from 350 to 300, but I gained 300 guaranteed k on JKR by adding Ordo to this team, so I went up 250,000, which is going to put me well over 3 million, which is awesome. Looking at this squad, I like Sortie on the JKR team too, and potentially that droid to go with him, because they do have synergy together, so that one's an option. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. And the Maul team is a little bit tricky. So at the higher relic levels, your Maul is going to go really well with Ordo. I cannot get a relic 3 Ordo to work as well as I can in R7 Django. He doesn't even come close. But when I used an account that had a R7 Ordo, I smoked it. So that, believe it or not, those 4 relic levels make a big difference. And then, of course, turn meter and mods are going to make a difference there too, guys. I do remod for this Krayt Raid. I just remod my Maul team for certain speeds and offense, and then I remod my JKR and my Ordo. That's it. It costs me 500 credits to remod each time. I do the Krayt Raid at the end, like 2-3 hours before it ends, and then I swap back around and do it at the front end of the Krayt Raid when it starts, and then I put my mods back on. And if I do that, the Krayt Raid ends on, say, Monday, then I go ahead and reset my mods, and then I put them back on for GAC. So one of the other things I did too, armor is clutch here. A lot of people don't have armor, but armor is huge. She's a lifter unit for C. She does amazing work in this raid. Obviously, you should have the Mandalorian Beskar for his ship, for the Executor. Bo-Katan. We'll talk about this later on, but she's got a couple things you need to do with her too. But she's a clutch one for this one. Her basic gives vulnerable, which scales your damage. And believe it or not, Cad Bane is not, on my OG account, he is not a Mandalorian. So you wouldn't think this fits. But I have high relic on the other 4 Mandos. So I was having to do the 450 because I don't have anything but a G12 as a 5th, like armor. She was like gear 11. So I tried putting Cad Bane in there and just basically used him as my bomb popper because bounty hunters or whatever, bounty hunters can pop one-shot bombs. So that's basically what I used him for. And then removing turn meter with his stun. And I was still able to get 650. So by adding him to this team until my armor was ready, it got me 200,000 more. So that was awesome. Then you guys, of course, have the rest of your Mandalorians, which are kind of trash. Their Hutt Cartel are kind of trash. Jabba obviously is he's the one that you want. So if you get Jabba and then do what they call the Jabba split and use this team right here with the Cad Bane lead, later on end game, you're going to end up getting a ton. That's how you get to the 10 million range. You've got your Tuskens, but your Tuskens are trash until they get to a minimum R5. And I'm told by the upper guilds, I don't have them, that they need to get to R7 in order to get the actual 2.7 million. So they really don't do a whole lot before that. They might get you to the 1.2, something on that line. But so if you want to invest them, that's on you. Kind of similar to the Jawas. And I hear that they rely heavily on the spear. The rest of your spare Mandos, not so great. But those are the teams that we're looking at right now. So keep that in mind, guys. You look right here. I've got the rest of them. You've got Gamorrean Guard. He's needed for Jabba. So eventually you're going to have to bring him up. Sabine Wren is another one you could throw on that Mando team because she is Mando. And she does armor shred, similar to armor. She doesn't have the same abilities, but she does armor shred. So if you've got her relic and you want to throw her on there, if she's relic 3, you can probably use her as well. I would love to get her up there to find out, to test that, but I don't have the resources for that right now. All right, let's go ahead and do my Krayt Raid. I'm not going to say a word here. The music's kind of slow playing anyway. I am literally just going to mute myself and go fast. If you guys want to slow it down and see what's happening in the action, go ahead and slow down YouTube. You can slow it down to 25%, I think. And in the meantime, I will get individual videos out next week for each of the teams. And we're going to start with the Mando, the most complicated, but the funnest to me to play. Once you figure it out, once you see how I do it, all you need to do is adjust some speeds on your team and go. Okay, here's that new team I was talking about. JKR going for 900. I've tested this twice and it's got me 900 each time. Don't fail me now. Let's go. That's your Krayt Raid in a nutshell. I will say the JKR team did become a little more difficult. I was guaranteed to get 800,000 with that squad. I had to do it multiple times. They kept going after Ordo and putting him out whenever the Krayt Raid would hit him. Outside of that, all the other battles went extremely smoothly, as you just saw right now. The only one I had to replay was the Maul to restart to get vulnerable. If she doesn't get it on the first shot, which I'll go over in the Maul video, I restart it. I had to do that twice. Third time, smoked through it in what you just saw. And JKR was multiple tries, but I learned a lot through that, which I'll pass in the video. So once again, we are 1 battalion strong. Look forward to those videos that come up. Individual teams that y'all are going to get to see. And I appreciate you. And like I said, I hope you sped it up to watch what happened. And yeah. Oh, almost forgot. We're recruiting.
Wow.
And don't forget, we are 1 battalion strong. Till next time.